What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So once again, there's a whole bunch of news that just keeps to be coming out throughout September on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. So as of right now, we do know that Raid Ace is out right now, and everyone should be farming that. He's a pretty good free-to-play character, and he's going to help you out with building some very specific teams. So make sure to farm up Raid Boss Ace. However, there has been a data download that has introduced another raid boss. Yes, we are getting a brand new raid boss. September 16th, I believe, is when it gets released, which is this raid boss right here, which is called Clash Big Emperor. Now, don't let the title get it twisted. You can tell from this icon here, it is a Straw Hat related raid boss, and it is a 30 and 40 stamina raid boss. So just because, you know, we are getting another raid boss, which I know might seem overwhelming to many players, you've just got to see here, it's a 40 stamina raid, and I do know that it is a very, very easy raid, so you don't have to worry about it too much. But in this video today, we're going to talk about this character, discuss whether or not it's good, and just talk about the other stuff that has actually been data downloaded into the game, including a brand new global first duel unit. Yes, you heard that correctly, but we'll get to that a little bit later. First of all is this brand new raid boss. You can see here, guaranteed, like, it says the pirate level here recommended is 150, so just by that alone, you can kind of already tell that this is going to be a pretty easy raid boss. Unfortunately, we can't check what the actual boss unit does. We can check the skill book for what the skill actually is, but you see that the recommended recruitables, you can drop 3 separate characters, the Chopper and Frankie, the Zoro and Sanji, and the Usopp and Robin. But you can see that when you click on the character, they don't have a special ability or a captain ability. Basically, you use these characters to evolve them into the final boss character, which is the docking Straw Hats. Really, really cool that they actually introduced that as a character, but it's just a little bit unfortunate because the character really isn't that good. You can see you can drop cotton candy, you can get Dex and also quick boosters here, which is nice. But let's actually go ahead and check out the skill book, because the skill book actually tells us what the special does. So it starts off at 27 turns. Unfortunately, I don't know what it maxes out at, but it will go ahead and slightly increase damage taken for 2 turns, so that's likely a 1.25 times increased damage taken buff. And then we'll also go ahead and greatly boost shooter characters' slot effects for 2 turns, which is a 1.75 times shooter slot rate boost. And it says if you land 5 perfects during the turn you activate the special, then it will change its shooter character slots to their own type in the following turn. Very absurd type of special. Typically when we see a special that states, you know, hit a certain amount of perfects, it means that in the next turn you'll get an extended buff or a boosted buff, or another buff will be applied to your team. This is there are a couple of characters that manipulate orbs with this type of effect. I know Colosseum Lao G is a very similar effect to this, obviously relating to G orbs, of course. But this is really odd because this is like shooter centric. If you hit 5 perfects, all your shooter characters get matching orbs in the following turn. However, you can see here that it doesn't remove block orbs, so you can go ahead and use the special and kill off a room. But if you move on to the next stage and then the preemptive from the boss gives you block orbs, this character won't change those orbs into matching, so it's kind of annoying the way that it's built. Is really not that great. I mean, he's a shooter 1.75 times orb booster for 2 turns. If you use a character to extend that buff, like V1 Kuzan 6+, you could definitely see that be used, I guess, but it's really not that good, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, the character isn't that powerful, hence why it's going to be on a 40 stamina raid boss. So, I mean, it's going to be coming only a couple of days, literally right before the treasure map. Double skill up should be live during this event period while this raid boss is up. So if you have the extra stamina and or time, I would suggest just farming it up so that you don't have to do it later. But I wouldn't stress yourself over maxing this character. He's not going to be a character that you're going to rely on for like every piece of content. So don't worry too much about that. Let's actually talk about the new fortnight as well. So there is a brand new fortnight here, which is a brand new pudding, Chiffon, and Sanji fortnight. The new Chiffon in this actual fortnight will reduce damage threshold by 2 turns and reduces bind by 3 turns. Very, very decent all-around character. Obviously doesn't have a crewmate ability. Captain ability is pretty terrible. She has a support ability, supporting Sanji and Pudding, just adding 3% of her stats, so not too terrible. The Pudding herself also has a pretty decent special. She binds herself for 3 turns, so if you have sockets, then that will completely counter that. But then it reduces the crew's attack down duration by 2 turns, which is really nice, and boosts the chain multiplier by 0.3 for 1 turn. And if your captain is a fighter, changes the captain's orb and Pudding's own orb into matching. So it's not a terrible special. Free-to-play attack down reduces are always really, really nice to have. So that's pretty good. Unfortunately, I can't check what the Sanji does. I don't remember what the Sanji does, but he should be half decent at least. So the Pudding Fortnight is here. We can actually go to the world map and check out the Chopper Man missions, which actually gives us a little bit of details as to what skill books are going to be available for this fortnight. So let's go ahead and peep that out. Let's see, skill book. Can we check what Sanji does here? No, we can't check what Sanji does here. We got Dex Sabo Fortnite is gonna have the Dex Sabo books, which is really good for those that just pulled Dex Sabo, like on the most recent Sugo Fest. Gotti is gonna be here. Vito skill books are going to be here as well, and Legend Capone skill books are going to be here. So this is a great fortnight for max leveling those shooter characters that you've pulled. Very, very nice. Anything else in particular that I should really see here? Five Fist Inherited Will, which is the Sabo book, the Rook book. Yeah, okay, so it's basically the shooter support is coming in this fortnight, which is really, really cool. So I think in terms of new stuff that we can check in game, I think that is actually it. I will double check just in case if I have missed something. Oh, we can see that the trusty character recruitment is here as well, so we can see automatically that these are some free-to-play characters that are going to be boosted for this treasure map. Colosseum Donchin Jiao is a really good choice. Hajuden is okay, and the rest of them are pretty average. Well, the Kinemon's not too bad for a free-to-play Fortnite unit, but definitely the Colosseum Chin Jiao is probably the best one there. So if you haven't maxed out Colosseum Donchin Jiao, farm it from here. It's going to be much easier to max him from this island here, considering it's only 20 stamina. Obviously, you're not guaranteed to get him, but it's much easier than farming his Colosseum variant. But now let's get into the global first duel unit, which was a massive surprise to us players, which is a Sanji and Pudding duel unit. So we're over on the One Piece Treasure Cruise subreddit Discord right now, and shout out to Anton for providing the data mines for the artwork here. This is the artwork for the brand new dual character arriving on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global, and the Korean version as well, Sanji and Pudding. At this current point in time, we actually don't know how you receive this unit. We know that the unit is a 30 cost character, so that automatically rules out them being a raid boss. It rules out them being a Colosseum. The only other potential thing it could be would be like a free login character. I don't think it'll be a Rayleigh shop character. I have time traveled and checked the Rayleigh shop and that they weren't there. It could be a character that's available within the treasure map somehow. We just don't know how you get this character at this current point in time yet, but I'm sure over the next couple of days we will get information about that in a news post somewhere. So that'll be very, very interesting to see, you know, how do we actually get this character. But what does this character actually do? We do have its details right here. Now these are preemptive translations by myself actually, and I hope that they're correct. If they're not, I'll leave a little addendum down below in the comment section. But the captain ability of Sanji and Pudding, this is the combined dual captain. Increases the chances of landing on recovery slots and makes them beneficial to your team, so that's already really good. Boost the attack of strength, dex, and quick by 3.25 and boost their recovery by 1.5. That's pretty decent overall. For a free-to-play unit, we still, as I said, we don't know how to get this character, so overall as a free-to-play character, it's okay. It is passable, I would say. Now, in terms of the solo captain abilities for Sanji, he's going to increase the chances of landing on a recovery slot. He does not make them beneficial though, so that's something to take into consideration. And then he is going to boost strength, dex, and quick by 2.5 times and give them a 1.25 times recovery boost. It's actually really good that it increases the chances of recovery orbs as well as actually giving you a 1.25 recovery boost, and obviously as a dual unit, 1.5 times recovery boost. That's actually really sizable, and that will make a big difference whenever you pick up a recovery orb. And then we move on to Pudding's captain ability. Now, she does not increase the chances of recovering orbs like coming up, but she makes them beneficial as a captain. And then we'll also, you know, do the same thing as Sanji. 2.5 times attack to strength, dex, and quick, and then a 1.25 times recovery boost. Now, as for their special ability, 12 turn max cooldown, changes adjacent orbs into recovery, which is good, and then will also greatly reduce damage taken over 3,000 significantly for 1 turn, which is really good. The damage threshold applying to your team, very similar to Raid Boss Barto and Barto Cavendish Dual Legend. Very, very cool. And then they'll also go ahead and boost the color affinity of strength, dex, and quick by 1.75 times. Now, I'm not too sure if that's a 1-turn color affinity or a 2-turn color affinity, because then it goes on to say, becomes the dual unit Sanji inputting for 2 turns. I'm pretty sure the color affinity is only for 1 turn. If it's for 2 turns, that's awesome, but I think it was probably going to be only for 1 turn. Now, obviously, with dual characters, one of the most important things is their swap effect. Now, unfortunately, their swap effect doesn't seem too good on the outside, but there are some circumstances where you could kind of abuse it. So for their switch effect, for strength, dex, and quick characters, if they have a Psi or Int orb, it shuffles their Psi or Int orb into either strength, dex, quick, recovery, or tandem orbs. Now, this would be pretty decent on like a Lucy team, hypothetically, because on a Lucy team, as Lucy is a captain, he makes strength orbs basically appear like never. You're never going to really see strength orbs when you have double Lucy up as a captain. So when you shuffle it, you're basically going to be getting dex, quick, recovery, or tandem. Now, for dex and quick, they're going to be beneficial on a Lucy team. Recovery and tandem, they are pretty easy to make beneficial with crewmate abilities or special abilities or ship abilities. There are definitely ways to make them beneficial, or even if you use a character like Legend Brook as a sub, he makes them beneficial. Like, there are ways to make recovery and tandem beneficial. Honestly, this would work really well on a Big Mom team as well, if you're using Legend Big Mom as a captain, as recovery orbs get turned into Semler orbs as well. So, you know, there are different, you know, type of ways you could use the character, and definitely works really well with those characters that I stated, Big Mom and Lucy, as this character provides a color affinity boost for those teams, which is going to be quite good actually. So overall, the character seems just alright. You know, the character does have a limit break as well. Unfortunately, does not have a sailor ability for the support ability, my bad. Doesn't have a support ability. It does have a sailor ability where it's a stat boost for their first one. Unfortunately, we can't see what their secondary one is. I believe the tab in the top right corner there is for a unique tab, so that could be a beneficial orb enabling one, likely going to be making recovery beneficial to your strength, dex, and quick characters, I would think. That's just a random guess, but I think that's a pretty fair guess, to be quite honest. And you can see that Sanji is going to be a dex unit and Pudding is going to be a quick unit, and when they're combined, they are powerhouse and shooter characters. Really absurd. You know, I think it's cool though. I like the fact that this character is a dual unit. I think the artwork looks immaculate. Just a really odd choice, very odd choice. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video breaking down all the news that's arriving on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global, and also the Korean version as well, as our 2 versions are pretty much combined at this point. But if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.